Welcome to DropGuard. In this video, I will show you how to set up your first project to use DropGuard to automate your Drupal updates. After you registered at dropguard.net, you will receive an email containing all the credentials you need to sign up at our page app.dropguard.net. After you logged in successfully, you will see the project page that is currently empty. Click to add a project and enter the title of your first project. You can skip the hosting provider select box and continue with entering your Git URL. That's the full Git URL, either in an SSH format or in the HTTP or HTTPS format. And at this Git URL, DropGuard needs access to be able to commit code changes to your repository. You can provide access to your Git repository for DropGuard just by copying the key at the credentials. Then go to your Git management program or platform. In our case, it's GitLab. You can also use GitHub or Gitolite or Bitbucket or any other Git hosting platform. And here you need to enter the key to your user. In our case, we have a separate user called Jenkins, and that's the user that commits code changes to our Git repository. You can go to the SSH keys tab, add a new SSH key, give it a title, and paste the key from your clipboard to the text area. After this, you click Add Key, and then the key will be added to your Git user, allowing the DropGuard user to commit code changes to your Git repository. That's it. Now we go back to DropGuard and we can fetch branches to validate the connection to your Git repository. Now you see a list of all your branches that are included in your Git repository. We select the master branch because it's the one branch that contains the code base of our live site. DropGuard can also handle Drupal distributions, but it's not necessary for our demo. Click to Next Step and we will see the site configuration page. Now it's necessary that you go to the project page of the DropGuard module, which is also open source, and this module provides a web service on your site if installed there and enabled, so that DropGuard can transfer and receive all the information regarding installed modules and their version. Let's assume you already committed this module and enabled it on your live site, so that DropGuard can create a connection from the service to your live site. You need to copy this access token just by clicking to Copy to Clipboard, and remember the user ID. Now go to your live site where the DropGuard module is installed and enabled, and go to the Web Services configuration page of the DropGuard module. Here you remember the client ID, it was 32, and you paste the access token from your clipboard. Submit the form, and now we copy the URL from the browser and paste this URL to the site URL. This is the site URL where DropGuard will send requests to get information about installed modules and their version. As we protected this demo site from being indexed by Google, we added an htaccess password protection, and you can enter the credentials by just using the normal URL syntax. Now we continue with the next step. All information we entered into the form will be validated, and if there is an error, you will see the error message just after submitting the form. After all settings have been set up successfully on the second step of site configuration, we are now here to configure the update types. As you might know, Drupal has different update types. There are normal update types which contain bug fixes and new features. And there are updates that contain security updates that are critical for your site to be applied in a short time. Let's start with the configuration of highly critical security updates first. DropGuard creates a task for each update, and the task is added to the project that we are currently configuring. We choose the update mode, create a task for all updates, and start the update process automatically, which means that a task will be created for the update, and the update process will be started by committing the update to your Git repository. We skip the tests as we want the update to be applied to the master branch and deploy to the live site immediately, so that the live site is safe and secure. We choose to apply updates to an existing branch. DropGuard can also handle feature branches. And here we select the master branch, which is the branch that contains the codebase of our live site, and that's where the highly critical security update should be applied to. Now we configure all other security updates that are not highly critical. Again, we want DropGuard to create a task and start the update process automatically. But as these updates are not highly critical, we have time to ensure quality, and that's why we choose manual tests. We apply the updates to an existing branch, and we choose the stage branch, which is the branch that contains the codebase of our stage environment, and we want to test the latest updates at our stage server. All other normal updates, which are bug fix and feature updates, should only create a task but don't start the update process automatically. We will process manual tests. We apply the updates to an existing branch, and we choose the dev branch to commit the updates there. That's it, and now we will go to the next step. If you only have one or two branches in your Git repository, for example a dev and a live branch, you can configure the update behavior here accordingly. If you need help, chat with us. In the previous step, we configured DropGuard to prepare the code base, which means that the updates will be applied and committed to your Git repository. Now we have an Events tab, which is similar to the Rules UI that you know from Drupal. In this Rules UI, you can configure the deployment processes and the notification processes that should happen when DropGuard has a new update or has an update that is ready to be tested. Let's go ahead again and continue with our highly critical security update. As you remember, we configured DropGuard to apply highly critical security updates to the master branch. And we skip tests. That's why the task status is set to test passed immediately. We choose an action on this event, and we can either request a URL. That can be a Jenkins job that you enter here, and this Jenkins job contains all the commands to deploy your code, to run your automated tests, and to execute trash commands. We will do this only for highly critical security updates. You could also enter SSH commands in case you don't have a Jenkins set up. Here you can enter your host name, your SSH port, the user that should be used to connect to your SSH server, and you can enter the SSH command using also tokens to identify your branches in case you want to set up feature branch instances or merge several branches to other branches. If you want DropGuard to access your SSH server, it's necessary that you copy your DropGuard key from the Credentials tab and add it to your user on your SSH server that should have access by the DropGuard user. Let's remove the execute SSH command again, and we copy and paste the URL of our Jenkins job. That's the Jenkins job that deploys the code base from the master branch to the live site. After this URL has been requested, we want to merge our branch. In this case, it's our master branch where the updates have been applied to, the source branch. You can also use the token here. It will be master branch in our case. And we merge it back to the dev branch and the stage branch so that the code changes are also available on the dev and the stage server. As we want to be informed if a new highly critical security update has been deployed to our live server, we can tell DropGuard to send an email. This email will be sent again only in case of highly critical security updates to mymailaddress.com. You will receive an email every time when there is a new highly critical security update that has passed the test status and where the code base is already deployed to your live site. Then you can ensure quality and fix bugs afterwards. That's more important to have the site safe and secure from hackers, and then you can ensure the quality after the deployment. Now let's care about other updates that are security related but not highly critical. We want to test them manually. And that's why we choose the status that is set to ready to test of our update task. First of all, we want to receive an email so that we know there is something to test. It's for critical and all other security updates that are not highly critical. Again, we add our email address and we will get a notification to this email address whenever there is an update that is set to ready to test. Remember, DropGuard always creates a task for updates, and this task will pass several statuses, for example, ready to test and test passed. Now we want to be able to test all the code changes on our stage server. That's why we call our Jenkins job URL for all security updates that are not highly critical. And we change our live Jenkins URL to the stage Jenkins URL. Basically, that's how the webhook integration works with DropGuard. You can call any URL that you want to trigger when a task update is set to ready to test or set to any other task status. And with these webhooks, you can integrate with several external services, for example, Travis CI, Jenkins CI, Circle CI, or Deploy HQ, or other continuous integration services. As a last action in the ready to test section, we will merge the branch back to our dev branch. Remember, all the updates that are not highly critical but security related will be committed to the stage branch, and so we will merge them back to the dev branch, that all code changes are available for the development team as well. Again, we choose the update types, all security updates that are not highly critical, and we merge back to the dev branch. That's it, and now we will configure DropGuard to deploy non-security related updates. As you can see in this events page, you can use DropGuard to implement and configure your whole deployment process, from executing SSH command, triggering web service URL requests, and merging branches, so that your code base is always up to date on the server and environment where you want to test your updates. Now we proceed with the next step and save the project. You see an overview of all your changes you have made during the configuration process, and you see here a hint that after you've created the project, it will be set to paused, and you have to unpause the project manually. Clicking the button Create Project will create the project. Now you can see the project overview page with your newly added project set to the status paused. Click to the title of the project will redirect you to the project detail view. And here you see that you can click Unpause the project to start DropGuard monitoring your updates and security updates and caring about deploying your updates to your servers. We implemented this feature to set a project to paused after it has been created, because you might want to go to the modules page and exclude several modules from the update process. If you click to a single module, you can exclude it from the update process and from modification changes. Let's go back to the project and start the monitoring and update automation process. Click Execute, and now we can either wait until the next cron job runs within the next 5 minutes, or we click Check for updates and modified modules. DropGuard will also detect patches that you applied to your modules, and these patches will be respected during the update process so that they are not lost while DropGuard updates your site. Now I click to check for updates and modified modules. Now you see a list of all available updates, if they are critical or moderately critical, and on which branch they have been applied. This depends, of course, on the settings that we set during our project setup and configuration process. You can also see that DropGuard detected some patches in your modules, and by clicking the Modified Modules list link, you will see a list of modules that have been patched. DropGuard extracts those patches and tries to reapply them after the updates have been processed. This has the benefit that no patches will be lost during the update process. After the cron job has run initially, or after you clicked Check for updates and modified modules, you will not only see a list of available updates here, but you can also access a list where you can see all tasks that DropGuard has created for each and every update. If you want to see how these tasks will be processed and how to work with DropGuard in detail, please watch our previous webinar or wait for our next videos where we'll explain how to include DropGuard into your development and deployment processes. Thanks for watching, and see you next time in our DropGuard video.